What to expect from my channel. So this channel is called Christ Coffee Cashmere, and basically I am using this channel to go over a bunch of topics or a bunch of sayings that we have heard um, in a lot of religious heavy churches, or how to distinguish when you're hearing something that sounds very religious, in a sense of sayings that you've heard through multiple churches. That a lot of churches, first of all, let's lay the groundwork. A lot of churches function in a very, I would say, Old Testament, which is very, religious, that laying a foundation of sayings or character or motives that Christ has already uh, crushed at the cross, put it like that. And a lot of times, you still hear them. If you feel church is supposed to be a place where you go to and you feel a sense of hope, a sense of excitement, where your faith is on fire. You should feel like really, feel really good. Put it like that. It's kind of like, and this is why it's in my title. It's kind of like I am a coffee drinker. I love Christ. So, like those things, I also love fashion. So, it's all three in one. So, basically, that's my trinity: Christ, coffee, cashmere. Um, so, yeah. So, basically, it should be, a good morning, a wake up call, that kind of stuff, just to kind of like get your day going, no matter what time of day it is. Or, if you're going, some churches have like evening churches or whatever, and that's fine too. Afternoon, people that are probably elderly or they retired, so they might want to just go, you know, sit before the Lord, that kind of stuff, and, head to the altar. And there's nothing wrong with all three of those things. It's about how you worship uh, God in spirit and truth, and not feeling, not hearing things that are really, really Old Testament. And, part of my job description, just certain things that he wants me to talk about first is we have to get through this religious spirit, and it's really rooted um, in condemnation. Like, churches that, you going to hell for everything, uh all things. So, first of all, the word says all things in moderation, right? So you can have a glass of wine with your pasta. You can have a glass of wine Friday night after you come from work and you had a long day, things like that. It's like all things in moderation. Now you also have to, now there's balance, right? Because you also have to know what is in your bloodline, what is prone. Like, somebody else may be okay with, if you have moderation, you might be okay with having a glass of wine with your meals or whatever, or like I said, on a Friday. But if you're someone who, like, I wouldn't advise a recovering alcoholic, because that will open a door, right, to those spirits that they either got out of or bringing it back, right? Because we know that deliverance is different phases, right? Like, there's instant deliverance, which is my calling. I mainly call for like the miracle side. So the power gifts is really like my main assignment. And then, but the secondary assignment is, after you are, delivered miraculously, or, whichever kind of way it goes on God's timing, then we need the principles to sustain it. So I would say that that's my secondary uh, call, is how to sustain it. Because I always say, either you hear churches that they are, it's like one way: either they heavy, heavy on the miracles, the power of miracles, and uh, all of the power gifts. But then the other side, like the revelation side, the understanding side, how do we keep it? How do we sustain it? You know, if you get a you have a you know you get a certain breakthrough at a certain job that you wanted, and you have a breakthrough in that area, so now you're making more money than you've ever made before. But now, okay, what do you do? Like after you pay your tithes or whatever, for people that still believe in that, I do. So but no, and again, another thing with this channel, like it's a no judgment zone. Once this channel grows to a certain level, um, a certain number that God has also given me, then I want to also open it up to where people can, a safe space where they could come in and they can share testimonies, or anything that they're battling with. Like if you don't you don't understand tithing, or why do we need to tithe, or you tithe, but why do I need to do first fruits when I get a new job? How does that work? And it's really your heart posture, and everyone's heart is not there yet, and that's fine. So that's what this channel um it is going to be about. Those are the things that I want to walk through and talk to, like I said, make it a safe space. So again, this does not take away from, because another another call that I have is you know getting people back in the church, and church looks differently. Yes, you want to have your worship time at home. Yes, you want to carve out your consecration, your prayers, and all that stuff, but you want to still be connected to a church um, for your main covering. So I'm functioning more so on a like teacher ish right now. Yeah, I would say that's where I'm at right now. Teacher is. Um, but my gifts are power gifts. So if they when the time comes when God starts well, he's already sent me out, but you know what I mean. As far as like in a media way, yeah, like anyone who knows me, like they already know the power, the gifts is on my life. Like it's not a secret. I mean, people I work with even know that. So yeah, and that's not to brag. That's just like you can't function. You can only function in the power that God has given you, the grace that He has given you, which has to match your title, your job description, and your title. So if you're running around with a certain title, we're going to expect certain gifts to be manifest as well. I expect everything that's in that job description, your heavenly job description, to be able to, yeah, to know it. Like, do you have the revelation gifts? Do you have uh, the gift of discernment? You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. Like we need that. We need that in the body as well, especially with with my ministry. With my mantle is someone that have the power gifts. There also are there's a lot of false power going around. So you want to test the spirit by the spirit. Um, yeah. So it should be even if you are in some side of uh, place of a deliverance service or whatever, you should have a sense of peace as well, um, not condemnation. So yeah, those are the little things. Those are the nuggets that we're going to talk about on this channel. And like I said, I want it to be a safe space. Later on, when it gets to a certain number, or we could start small. I'll see. Again, this is Holy Spirit led. Um, so my other I have two channels. I'm starting this one. And then my second channel that's where I talk more about like the fashion, career, all that stuff. My fashion boot camp. Um, just tweaking that at the moment and getting that up on finding like the best platform to use that. So that's what's going to be going on that channel. So any career advice, any pivoting you want to do, uh, I also am in touch with, I know a lot of recruiters just because I've had a long history of working with temp agencies, with fashion houses. All of that stuff is in my background too. So that's going to be on that channel. So this channel is really more for like, it's more of a consecrated channel. It's more like I've been giving words on YouTube, I mean, not YouTube, on Facebook and Instagram for years, like text words or whatever. And God is bringing me to a place where like He's like, okay, I want you to start doing video now. So, it's little steps. As far as on the media, I have done the steps in real life. Because everyone's not called to, social media. Some people are, their ministry really is behind the scenes. It's more like an intercessor, and they're more God's using them heavily at their job, that kind of stuff, or they're used heavily at their church, like, they're part of like the prayer lines, and that's fine. So, everyone is not gonna everyone is not called to social media like that. I know for sure. We have a lot of people that have just, plopped themselves on it, and you can grow on social media, but uh yeah, everyone is not, it's not, a lot of things are not led by the spirit right now. That's the world we're in. um right now you can ask AI for what are trending topics. That's what people are, building their channels on. What's trending, people that haven't been political, all of a sudden now they're political. Jesus already said that politics and the church don't, not even supposed to mesh. You know what I mean? So that's another conversation. That's another video. Who you vote for it's kind of like your religion. Like who's stand, what principles do they have that you like or you align with? And just like any church, you're not going to align with everything that they're doing. You could love your church and your pastor, whatever the relationship that you have. Are you going to like every sermon? No. Some sermons, may feel uh you're not feeling good about it, or and not feeling good about it in the sense of like you getting convicted, and that's fine. But I'm talking more so like condemnation. And like I said, politics in the church is not even supposed to be going on at the same time, uh, because it's, you choose by based on who you like, or whoever has most, like 80% of the principles. Because first of all, politics are coming from the world. That we know. That we know. The God of this world is Satan. We know that. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, but the God of this world is Satan. That's why we are tasked with going into the world and spreading his name, Christ's name, Christ's love, Christ's acceptance, Christ's forgiveness. Um, so yeah, I don't want to go on a tangent because I could definitely talk. But like I said, this is a safe space, and what the channel, what you can expect from the channel, where I want to grow the channel to grow to. Like I said, I'll probably create an email list later on as well. Um, just because the way my gifts are, well, normally he just wakes me up to give me the word and I drop it. And then, but it's not like I'm not hearing from him during the day or whatever. Sometimes I just hold it and then I wait because the revelation comes. Sometimes it's a lot of time it's a breadcrumb. He'll give me a word, a saying, and then and then I have to like really trace it. And that's how our relationship has been. And then when I get to like the meat, the meat or the bread of it, it's a whole new. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what this one word meant. Like it's he takes the word and then it's like an umbrella, like the umbrella, you holding it right there, but like the whole covering of the umbrella is massive. And it's like that's how it starts out. It just starts out really small with a word, a feeling, because I function heavily in like I feel first and then I see. So that's how my gifts are. It's also like I want to help people like understand their gifts as well. That's another part of my assignment. Um, so open it up to help people understand their gifts. What are they going through? Um, and talk more about my background. So I was raised Jehovah Witness. So I came out of a very, religious. I would say religious, but it's also a cult, right? So, which I didn't know that until I got out of it. It's funny because, like, certain stuff God won't tell you till you're out of it, and that's kind of like what He is bringing me to now with this channel. He called it, like I said, the divine pluck, because that's what He did with me. So I was divinely plucked out of that, and then, invited to churches, this and that, which is a whole nother, I'll do some story times on here, which I think will be good and set people free with that. Just because even though we are different, a lot of our experiences are the same. Um, yeah. So that's the high level of the of the channel. Like I said, because it's breadcrumbs, I'll give it to you guys in doses, just because I am. He has also given me depth. Thank God. Uh, you know, some people, it's a lot of talk, but like it's no depth. And depth means like it's not really rooted. Um, and how deep does depth goes deep. So, which is also why I'm also tasked with, maturity, spiritual maturity. And it's basically, like I said, it's taking those sayings or those old passages or old things that felt like condemnation and doing a deep dive in it, but doing a deep dive in a practical way, right? Um, Jesus taught in a lot of parables, and he made it plain. So it should, like, anyone, if your video gets shared, or someone shares your video, or someone says you should follow this channel, this and that, they shouldn't follow confusion or like it's over their head. So it's kind of like knowing how to expound on something, but also keeping it practical. Like I was walking by Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and now they have a thing called, it's like chewables, and I was like, oh wow, that's cute. And when I went inside, I was just, kind of being nosy, and I went inside and I said, let me see what that is. And they just had like bite size of everything that you would normally get, but it was a bite size of it. So that's the word he gave me too, like keep it bite size. And that's why I was able to just function so long on Facebook. Sorry, because I have like a little cold too. Um, Facebook and Instagram, with fitting everything into, the little text that they give us, the word count. Sometimes, of course, it has errors or whatever, because sometimes it's like I'm dealing with the word count, so it's like I can't put too much. But how they keep it short and, short and not short and sweet, but like short and like where it's power in it. It's short and power. And it's funny because I've had people on TikTok comment under some of my posts and was like, wow, I could feel the power in that. So it just shows you, which is fine, because when you think about the word of God, if you read the scripture, like you feel the power from that scripture, like you should feel the power from that saying. So you don't have to see. We didn't see faces in the Bible, right? We saw drawings or whatever, but it was mainly the ministry was a lot of word, word and power. Yeah, and that's, if you show your face, whatever, that's not against that either. But of course, because I'm going to be showing my face on my other channel when I talk about that, I can't talk about fashion and you're not seeing my face or my outfit or styling. Like, how is that going to work? So it's not totally confidential, right? Because you are going to have, and to build any kind of intimacy, I mean, you're going to have to see somebody's face for a while. Um, and the good thing with my gift is that I don't have to see your face. I just get the download. They give me a download, and he brought me to a place where, at first, yes, I did have to. My gifts would only work if I prayed with somebody. Then it would show up. But you have to grow in your gift. You have to grow in your gift like you grow into your understanding. Um. So yeah. So that's where I'm at now, and he'll give me more when more is, well, he's already given me more, but he's given me more in a sense of like how he wants me to roll, put it like that. It's like a rollout. So in a company, when you have, and that's my background, so in my career, I'm on a digital side of things, and it's also like when we call it, we have a launch, we have a strategy, and then we have a soft launch. And a soft launch is kind of like our teaser, and a teaser is showing people what they can expect. So it's kind of all working together with this YouTube channel as well. So it's kind of like daily bites. it's going to become a word, and it's like a teaser of like what's coming next. Kind of like how when you're going to watch a movie and they show you, and before the movie starts, they show you all the coming attractions, or you was watching the coming attractions on different advertisements, and then you be like, it's hyping you up, it's getting you ready for the movie. And that's what this is. This is supposed to be a channel that where you are thirsting for the word. You're going to be thirsting for more, because that's what he did with me. It was like the way he plucked me out and then dropped me in. It was just like kind of radical, but radical in a kind way, right? Like I said, I have some good story times that I think will, not that I think, that I know will set a lot of people free, from just the way he did it, and also kind of like what to look for, or maybe it wasn't as radical as mine. Sometimes when God has a radical call on your life, he calls you radical. He calls you in a radical way, put it like that. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, so like I said, my gifts are were highly word of knowledge, and power gifts. So that's the gift of faith, which makes sense, right? Because if you are trusting God for miracles, you have to have a certain level of faith. It's not the faith. There's the salvation faith, and there's the faith for like miracles. That's a different faith. But then there's the mustard seed faith, and that is also a spin he gave me, which is faith the size of a kitten hill, and that is probably going to be on this channel and on my fashion channel as well, because it's something that could go for both. Like the church and the world, he said, can understand that. So I had to start the trademark process on that one, and that's a whole other beast. It's becoming a headache actually. So, but anyway, that's either here nor there. So it is. I'm 20 something minutes in. But yeah, so that's what, hopefully I answered everything. That's what to expect from this channel. Also, sometimes you won't hear, sometimes it won't be pre recorded. A lot of times it may just be live, just because a lot of time when he's downloading me, I just gotta like get it out. Like it's not gonna be like, download it and then it's time to edit. Like it's like it might not be that. It might not be that. So it's like, when you building a house or you starting a business, it's gonna be scrappy. So yeah, it's gonna be scrappy over here, and that's fine. So, this is not the channel if you want to critique and be like, oh, the logo's twisted, or there's a word spelled wrong. Well, probably not really stuff like that, because we now have, Grammarly, and we have AI, and we have all of that stuff. But I mean like stuff that shows my humanity, that kind of stuff. My humanity meaning I have a stuffy nose right now, but I'm supposed to start this channel. Um, I wanted to start it on Yom Kippur, but I was doing some other stuff, and that wasn't what he told me to do. He just told me to start it. So started means, he said the starting month was October. So here we are. It's October, which is kind of like a new year, because we had Yom Kippur. So I'm just being obedient with that stuff. And obedience means that he gives you the reins, right? Obedience is like, this is how I want you to, this is what you're supposed to do. But he doesn't give you the how to do it. Meaning like that's a creative side. You could figure it out. You figure it out along the way. You see what works for you, what works for the audience, and that kind of stuff. For the people that's hearing, if there's any voice problems or whatever, stuff like that. And I am working on my mic stuff and all that stuff as well, because I bought so many, but I don't know, something is just not. I don't know what's going on. I got to figure that out too. So yes, a lot of figuring out, and a lot of figuring out kind of happens at the same time. You are, like I said, it's scrappy. It's like when you start a business, it's going to be scrappy. You got to use what you got. When you building a house, it starts with the dirt, the construction, the bricks. This is where we at. This is the building. I'm in the building stage. Um, Now it's already built, right? But you have to, each thing that you build still starts out scrappy. building my blog. Um, so all that stuff is like it's being built, scrappy. I'm learning as I go, and I'm figuring it out. Yeah. Thank you.